be here again. I haven't been here since I was 5 years old. But I think Nancy and I have been pretty faithful attendees over the year, and I'm really especially honored to be here in a new capacity. Many of you have seen me here as your Attorney General, but now to be Senator is a special honor. And, you know, we say that Martin Luther King Day should be a day on, not a day off. And truly, today, we are at a turning point for our country when it really should be about the dream, as well as the dreamer. And when this call to action should remind us about what Martin Luther King said of public service, that everybody can be great because everybody can serve. And that's really the meaning of this day, a very special one for our nation. We're at a turning point in this country because in Washington right now, there's a battle about voting. And I am proud to be here today on a day when Connecticut is talking about expanding voting rights and opportunities and access to the polls, when in Washington, there is a concerted effort to restrict and restrain that right. Literally, in key states around the country, there is a purposeful effort to block access to the polls to certain groups of voters. It is about certain groups of voters, and they happen to be voters of color, elderly voters, younger voters, seeking to block that access so as to determine the outcome of this election, and we can't let them do it. We should do in Washington what Connecticut is doing here, expanding access to the polls, increasing the availability of those rights, and making sure that every vote counts and that no one is turned away because they don't happen to have an ID with a photograph. They don't happen to have certain kinds of IDs. That purposeful attempt to suppress voter outcome should be rejected. Now, Martin Luther King was, as you know, a man of peace and nonviolence. In fact, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. But he knew how to fight. And that should be our mission as well. Not only to fight against efforts to restrain civil rights and liberties, but also to expand opportunity for every American, regardless of background and race and color and religion. And that's why we need a jobs program in this state. Just as President Obama has proposed, we need to make sure that every American has access to employment and jobs and opportunity. And I can pledge you, I will fight that battle. I know you will. So as we go forward, education, still gaps in education, as Dennis said so well, still disparities in healthcare, still those differences in job opportunity, still that need to continue the battle on voting rights. And we know that in the long run, we will prevail. Martin Luther King told us, the moral arc of history is long, but it bends toward justice. This country still has a lot of work to do. We are still very much a work in progress, a democracy still developing, but we know that when there is injustice anywhere, there is injustice everywhere. And I know that from this great hall, all across Connecticut, all across the United States, we will send a message that justice will be our mission and our goal, and we will continue that fight. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you.